Back here on Radio Row, and after extensive talks with Wes Neighbors, we have decided to go a full 2 hours today. For those of you back home, I hope everyone's okay. First and foremost, the latest report that I see from the Huntsville Utilities is that 1,700 folks, 1,700 homes are still without power, 15 poles down, 69 lines down after that severe weather came rolling through. First, it was about 4 o'clock here, and then about 5:30 yesterday. So hope everyone is doing well down in Huntsville first and foremost. How are you, Wes?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I have already gotten feedback a little bit of my question to Nick Saban in the main media room, to which if you heard the full opening for Coach Saban, this is why I asked him, what's your favorite cake? So that's why I went there. You're going to hear the full press conference in the main media room to close out the show today, but we will play the open here. Had a chance to talk with Dallas Turner. That was a little walk and talk that I had. But this morning, Talking Ball featured J.C. Latham, and that is a big individual, to say the least. How important is J.C. Latham?
Well, I mean, he's on a cusp of being a first-round draft pick, being a high first-round draft pick. He does little things with him. But when he wants to, and he has tremendous speed off the ball, and he is at times a punishing blocker. Just little things. If he cleans up the little things, he could be the best in the league. I mean, he is a tremendous athlete to be somebody that big.
So there are certain heights and weights that I mean, all of us, if you pay attention to heights and weights that you get from these.
I never pay attention.
Brock Bowers, incidentally, yesterday, 6'4", 230. No, on either side. He wasn't 6'4", and he wasn't 230.
Oh, I bet he's 230. You'd be shocked. I think he's 230. He's solid, man.
J.C. Latham listed at 6'6", 335, and I believe every inch and pound of that.
Yeah, I think that Brock Bowers is 230.
Do you really?
Yes, I do, yes. He's solid, man. 230s, I mean.
You did see Brock Bowers yesterday,
yeah,
did you not?
Right over there. Yeah. I never talked to him, but I heard he didn't talk, so that's why.
Well, no, he always gave like 3-4 word answers.
I didn't say,
yeah. In fact, that was one of Kirby Smart's opening lines of, hey, if you can get more than 4 words out of Brock Bowers, let me know. So J.C. Latham was right here along Radio Row this morning with our boys at Talking Ball. Here is that conversation with the offensive lineman from Wisconsin.
Live inside the Grand Hyatt Hotel, and if you are going to the Grand Hyatt, you better look good. And if you are going to SEC Media Days, you better look good. And wow.
And we are joined by preseason All-American right tackle, or if he's on the right side, we'll ask him about that.
Yeah.
Certainly offensive tackle lineage at Alabama has been unbelievable since Nick Saban took over. Started with Andre Smith back in 2007. Tyler Steen now in the NFL. And our next guest has those plans as well, and it's J.C. Latham. He's joining us now on Press Row, Media Row, Radio Row, Nashville Tennessee.
Radio Row, yeah.
Yep. J.C., how are you, man?
Really excited to be here.
No, great to have you, man. That's a great question. I know you had a great run at right tackle last year. You spent some time at right guard as a freshman.
Yes, sir.
What? I know you had a great spring. What we were just asked this question earlier in the hour. Where do you see yourself on the O-line heading into fall camp?
I've been taking a lot of right tackle reps, but honestly, it's wherever coach needs me to be. If he needs me to be at left tackle or even at guard, I can play anywhere. So just understanding what the team needs and whatever we need to be the best, I'm down to do it.
Is there one that you feel more comfortable with, or is that an interchangeable position where if you can play left, you can play left, or you can play right, you can play right?
I know I'm versatile, so wherever he needs me to be, so I'm comfortable wherever.
And then talk about your relationship with Coach Wolf. Obviously, you guys took to him well last year. He helped you transition from inside to out, and you played a lot of tackle in high school at IMG Academy. That's a big reason why you came to Alabama, is the player development. Talk about your relationship with Coach Wolford.
My relationship with Coach Wolf, I see him as like family, honestly. We've been through a lot together since he's been here. Understanding that when he first got here, we didn't have a great season last year as an O-line in particular. So just understanding, the first thing he said when he came into the meeting was that he blames himself. Even though he wasn't here, he'll take all the blame for it, take accountability for it. So I knew that off the rip, like, that's like a great leader right there. So I knew he had a lot of passion behind his coaching. I knew he had a lot of love behind the game. So everything that he's taught me, technique-wise, mental-wise, even off-the-field aspects, I just see that as someone who like just looks after his own, and he does that with everybody in the group. So just seeing what he's been doing over the past year and a half, going on 2 years now, it's just been really special. I think we got a great group with us.
How tough was that last year? And going through those offensive line and knowing you guys aren't performing the way you want to perform, the way that the standard had been set, and maybe not your standards and the Alabama standards. How tough was that to kind of go through some?
It was tough. We had to be mentally ready to accept the fact that we were coming off of that year of a loss of a national championship, and previously before that we won the Joe Moore, so the standard was already set high. So it was tough having those 2 years, especially last year too, not reaching our goals. So we just learned from it.
Yeah.
It's experience. I just told somebody else that's life's best teacher, experience. Learning from your losses, learning how to take it, and learning what you need to do to be better.
And careers go by so quickly at Alabama. You're now already a rising junior. What kind of role have you taken with Caden Proctor and Elijah Pritchett? Guys, Pritchett was hurt last year, but went through his first spring, and then Proctor. Talk about mentoring them, because they're going to look to you a lot for leadership.
Just trying to be there whenever they need me. I sit right next to Elijah Pritchett and Caden Proctor, I think, since 2 seats down from me. So anything they need me to do, I'll be there for them, whether it's working out or off the field aspects or watching film. I put all of the tackles in the group chat. We obviously got an O-line group chat, but I put all the tackles in the group chat, and just let them know, like, if you guys have any questions or if you guys are confused on a look or whatever the case may be, I'm here for you to let you know, because we're all trying to compete at the end of the day, but we're all trying to win as a group. So,
all right, final question for you. How do you like it when you hear that Alabama's going to be really physical up front? Is that what you love it?
Yeah, that's the goal, man. Like, this year we're going to inspire fear. Like, guys aren't going to want to play against us. We're going to hit them in the mouth 4 quarters straight and get in, get out, and do our job.
Well, we look forward to it, man. Stay healthy, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, JC.
That is J.C. Latham
I
earlier
like the talk.
today.
I'm hoping they walk the walk, right?
I thought you'd like that. That's why I wanted to start off with that. Nick Saban said something in the electronic room that is picking up a little bit of steam, and it is about the quarterback room. I did want to play this in particular from Coach Saban. You tell me if there's anything to take away from this answer.
We need for all of our quarterbacks to develop on our team. I don't think anybody separated themselves to this point, even though I see improvement in each and every guy in terms of how well they're doing and how they're developing. But we need that on our team. We don't just need a starter. We need a backup. We need, good players at that position. Just like Jalen Milroe had the opportunity to play last year, we needed him to be ready in the Arkansas game and the A&M game. So when somebody separates themselves and nobody knows for sure when that is, and I can't establish a timetable to say on this date we're going to say this is the starting quarterback. It's going to happen when it happens, and that's the way it'll be.
That is Coach Nick Saban earlier today in the electronic.
Well, I think they have a lot of good quarterbacks, maybe too many in the end. I don't know about the new guy. A lot of people think, hey, he didn't bring him in not to start. I think he brought him in to start, but I don't mean he will. He has to win the job. He has to win the team. Whoever wins the team will be the starter. and they'll be the starter till they can't produce, and then they have plenty of people pushing them. I think they can win with a lot of these guys. Can they win the national championship? What Coach Saban's thinking, and what everybody else is thinking. But you got to remember, it's not about where they start; it's where they end.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we've seen A.J. McCarron. We've seen plenty of national championship quarterbacks that had to fight for their job in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I think it's happened 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody forgets about Talia, right? That's who Bryce Young was fighting with.
That's right.
You have to fight for your job.
Well, gosh, there's been so many quarterbacks to go through Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
I
but
think of Star Jackson as well back in the day. There's so many examples of
what this is.
Yeah.
That everybody actually just forgets about all that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was there's been on 4 occasions somebody had to win the job and didn't win it before the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Jimmy Hines take his shoes off and walk around out there?
Well, he's retired, so, you know.
I mean, it looks like he's airing out his socks on the balcony of the. I mean, some people I was about to say you could take him out.
So, do we want to put a camera on Jimmy Himes?
Some people on the internet.
I mean, we got a camera on us.
Off.
How about Jimmy Himes?
Can you turn that around and show Shoeless Joe Jackson out there?
Shoeless Joe is out on the patio soaking up the rays, and it's a little different.
I was about to say you can take him out of Tennessee, but we are in Tennessee.
So, yes, Jimmy Himes is enjoying the balcony out here on the second floor.
He got a little.
Well, he's doing the Bear Bryant lean up against the column.
He's looking at the hand thing. He's like
he's stretched.
He's channeling the sun.
I didn't think this was going to be a bit.
No, but yeah. Anyway.
So I guess we're going to talk to Jimmy Himes here in a minute.
After he does what I'm not sure we are or not. Somebody needs to tackle him if he heads to the edge of the balcony.
Coach Saban's opening statement to the media in the main media room.
I appreciate that. Great to see everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful summer. We've certainly had our share of good times, family times this summer. SEC Media Day is, one of my favorites because this means we are closer to football season. This is kind of the unofficial kickoff for football season from my standpoint, and maybe from yours as well. This is the first time we've been in Nashville, and I think this is a great place, and certainly in the heart of SEC country, and a great venue for all of us. I think you all know that we went on vacation to Italy. Just to clear that up, that was our 50th wedding anniversary gift to Miss Terry from some of our friends, which I successfully got out of for 2 years. Failed to be able to get out of it this year. Didn't really want to go, but it was a fabulous time. Fabulous, and I would recommend anybody do it. Lots of good culture, great architecture, art, a lot of good things to see. And I thought nobody would know us anywhere that we went, and we got roll-tided everywhere we went. So even in the Ferrari plant, we had a tour of the Ferrari plant, and these cats don't even speak English, and we're getting roll tide. So I guess we must have a pretty decent brand. I'm talking about the University of Alabama now, but it was an enjoyable trip, and I'd recommend it to anyone. We've had a very good off-season, with our team. Good off-season program, good spring practice, very good summer. The team is taking shape. We're still evolving as a team. Lots of new players, some experienced players to go with some of the good young players that we have in the program. New coaches. evolving into the system and trying to get the young players on our team to be able to develop in the system. And so far, the players are very enthusiastic and very committed to developing the talent that we have on our team. And I think that that's, a critical piece of sort of growing your team and developing your team, is that you can take the talent that you have and create the right mindset to go with that talent, because talent alone is not going to help them be successful, because they're heading someplace in the SEC as well as in the NFL if they have the opportunity to get there, where everybody has talent. So if you don't have the right mindset to go with it, then you're never going to bring that talent to fruition, nor will you be able to create the kind of competitive spirit that you need. And we're talking about having resiliency and perseverance and ability to overcome adversity and the discipline to pay attention to detail and do the little things right. And one thing that kind of goes with all that is humility. When you have humility, you always think there's a better way. So you're always searching, you're always listening, you're always trying to learn. And therefore, you develop really good relationships with teachers, parents, coaches, and people who are trying to help you. And you have gratitude and you appreciate that. And that creates for great relationships, on your team. And if you just think you're really, really good and you're better than everybody else, then sometimes you don't take those and develop those relationships with the same amount of gratitude, and you don't have the same kind of team chemistry that goes with players and coaches alike. So we want to stay focused on the process of what we need to do to play winning football at every position. And I'm not here to create expectations for our team. Lots of people will do that, but expectations in some way are a premeditated way to create disappointment. And I think you can look at it in your life, and that's why I say we need to stay process-oriented, not focused on the outcome, but focused on the things that we need to do to get the outcome that we want. And, if you have high expectations for what you want to accomplish and it doesn't work out, it makes you focus on the outcome, and it doesn't work out, and you're very disappointed. So we would rather stay focused on what we need to do to get the outcome necessary to be the best that we can be as a team at every position and with every player. We've had really good success in a lot of areas in our program, but one that I'd like to mention is academics. You're really going to college to prepare yourself for the day you can't play football. That's what we always tell our players. So we want our players to have the personal development that's going to help them create the right mindset to be successful in whatever they choose to do. And we also want them to develop a career off the field, which I think is very important to long-term success, because, NFL stands for not for long. There's only a 3.5, 4-year life expectancy in that league, so it's important for players to develop a career off the field. And we've had a tremendous amount of success. I think we're in the top 5 in the country in APR at 995. Our team, for the second time in the history of the University of Alabama, has over a 3-point grade point average. And we have like 650 players that have earned degrees since 2007, and we've been there. So this is one of the challenges, I think, to have a program that creates tremendous value for players on and off the field. The 3 players that we have here today, J.C. Latham, Kool-Aid, Dallas Turner, all are on track to graduate. They're all really good players at their position. They've been great ambassadors for the University of Alabama in terms of the class and character that they have, and we're very, very proud of who they are as people, students, and players. The NFL draft was pretty good to us. Again, this year we had 10 players drafted, 3 first-round guys. We've had 123 players drafted in our time in Alabama, and 44 first-round draft picks, which this is a part of what we want to do too, help players develop a career on the field. And that's really important to us. You know, we have some new coaches that I've been asked about, 2 new coordinators, which it's always most difficult to replace people on your staff that are in positions of leadership. But Tommy Reese is a bright young guy who's done a really, really good job. Players relate well to him. He relates well to them. He's a good presenter. He's very bright and understands the game conceptually very, very well, and has done a really good job of implementing our offense and adding to it things that I think will benefit us in the future. Kevin Steele is a longtime defensive coordinator in this league. He's coached with us a couple times before, so he knows the system. He knows what's expected. And Robert Bala is a new inside linebackers coach. So our team has worked really hard. I'm encouraged by the progress that the team has made. I think every team has to create its own identity by what they do in terms of how they come together as a team, how people buy into the principles and values of the organization, respect and trust those things, respect and trust each other, have positive energy about how they go about their work and how they impact and affect other people. And everybody's got to learn to be responsible for their own self-determination. You know, football is a great game to take responsibility to do my job, but you also have a responsibility to the other 10 guys to do your job because they're all depending on you, so we're all depending on each other. Football is one of the most interdependent games of any game played, where everybody has to do their job for things to work out like you want it to work out. So I think we've got some good young talent on our team. I think we've got some experience on our team. I think we have a pretty good mindset on our team. Our team seems to be, pretty hungry this year and motivated. Like all teams, we probably have some issues that are created by graduations and people leaving the program. Obviously, the number one that people are most interested in is the quarterback. We had a great quarterback, won the Heisman Trophy. Bryce did a fantastic job for us. So we have 3 guys that are competing for that position right now. All those players are getting better, and it's important for us that all those players get better. I don't think anybody has actually separated themselves yet to this point, and I don't think it's something that we're trying to rush. I used the analogy earlier, Grandma Saban used to bake the best cakes in the world. And I used to stand by the oven when I was a kid and say, when's this cake going to be done? When's this cake going to be done? And she said, if I don't let it go through and take it out of the oven too soon, it's going to turn to mush, so it won't be a really good cake. So I think we got to let this sort of develop and make sure we let the cake bake until somebody separates themselves. And all the players are working hard. They all have a good attitude. They're all competing well. At other positions on offense, we probably, I think, are improved. The receivers are same guys, older, more experienced. We've got good runners. Offensive line doesn't have a lot of experience returning, but we have some really good young players who have developed nicely. Tight end, we have a transfer that can help us there, and some young guys that are developing. Defensively, we've got 6 starters back. All 5 guys that left got drafted, so challenging to replace all those guys. But again, I'm pleased with the young people that we have in the program that can develop, even though they may lack some experience. I think they're probably guys that can do a good job for us. We do have both specialists back. Special teams has been an asset for us, and certainly we want to continue to be able to affect games and impact games with how we play on special teams, and having 2 good specialists certainly is a good start toward that. So with that, I'll allow you to ask questions.
That is the opening statement earlier today from Coach Nick Saban. Your thoughts on what you heard?
I thought he did a good job. I've been impressed with most of the coaches. I hadn't listened to every coach, but, I thought Kirby did an excellent job, even though he held a bigger filibuster than Drinkowitz's.
Yeah.
He got on Drinkowitz and talked longer.
By the way, that was 13 minutes and 22 seconds.
So Coach Saban went over 3 minutes. I think what he did is he took everybody's ammunition away. That's what you're supposed to do. You know the questions you're going to get. And he answered all the questions with his opening statement.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what you do in a speech. When this is kind of a political thing here in a lot of ways. And he answered all the questions before they got to ask him. Right? I mean.
Well, that's why I asked him what his favorite cake was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's at least a little different. But that's why I went there to kind of just, hey, Coach, I was listening.
Well, you know, I think they have – I really think they have 4 good quarterbacks. I know what he's doing. He needs leadership. He needs leadership and somebody that knows the offense that can – what's the worst thing going to happen by bringing the new quarterback in? He knows the offense already. He'll help the other guys. Alabama has 4 talented quarterbacks. Granted, they're not baked yet, like he says, but their ingredients are really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think personally, I think by the end of the year, if it goes right for a couple of these guys, I think they might be considered one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the conference, if not the best.
Had an opportunity to talk to Dallas Turner. Also, the boys in the morning spoke with Kool-Aid McKinstry as well. So going to let you hear that as today was Alabama Day.
I cannot wait to hear Kool-Aid in that area.
Well, that'll be first up here after this break as we are live from SEC Media Days. We will be right back.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road.
Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
It is SEC Media Days, day 3. As we've hit the crossroads and starting to head down the hill, we can see the finish line, which is tomorrow, but it was Bama Day today. A little bit of a crowd downstairs, about 15 to 18 folks showed up.
But I wanted to get a picture with the...
Oh, the hammer, the Thor?
Yeah, the Thor was
Thor on the puffed up Thor?
Yeah.
Oh, do we have?
Do we have a picture? I wanted to have
puffed
a team
up
picture
Thor.
with him.
Now, you want a team picture with Thor? I think he's probably gone.
Yeah.
Had a little walk and talk with Dallas Turner, and certainly one of the leaders defensively for this Alabama team, a junior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But there is one big name to replace defensively, and that would be one Will Anderson.
Yeah, so Alabama has an embarrassment of riches there. They really do. I think last year at times we had trouble rushing the passer. We just did, and I'm hoping that this year we'll be a little better at rushing the passer.
Here is
the leadership and the tackles and the big plays at the end of the game, yes. But I think Dallas Turner can fill the shoes.
Here's my brief interaction with Mr. Turner, a little walk and talk action here on the second floor. I almost said of the Winfrey. Of course, this is the Grand Hyatt here in Nashville.
Well, tell me a little bit about first impressions of Kevin Steele.
Very funny guy. I'll say that. He's a funny guy, like a guy likes to joke around, but he's also about his business. Very serious guy. He understands defense. I'll say that.
Well, tell me about playing with Will Anderson last year. How much did that help you in your growth?
It helped me a lot because, I got to see his mistakes and he got to see my mistakes, and I got to see his progression, and he also got to see my progression. So, we kind of got to see each other grow, and I'll say, that played a big role in our relationship now and how I feel about going to the season now.
Tell me about goals. Tell me about goals for this season for you.
Just to be 1-0 every week, win a game every week, and be a great teammate.
How about individually? What would you like to improve upon?
It's everything needs improvement. I'm never a guy that I can say I made it. Always trying to stay humble and always trying to stay consistent with working hard.
Is it more eye discipline, making sure? What is your first priority in getting the job done right?
Doing what I'm supposed to be doing for the play. If I'm supposed to drop curl flat, I'm gonna drop curl flat. If I'm supposed to be rushing off the edge, I'm gonna rush off the edge.
You consider yourself one of the defensive leaders this year?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I feel like it's time to play that role in this season, upcoming season.
Well, what are you looking forward to most for Middle Tennessee?
Just being out there with my guys. First game of the season, kick the season off right.
What do you like most about playing at Alabama?
Playing under Nick Saban.
Best of luck this year.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
That is Dallas Turner.
Yeah. He went to the Gus Malzahn School of Answers.
Yes, he did.
Except Gus did a good job, I thought, at the
Big 12?
Yeah, that's the most I've heard him talk.
Yeah.
Ever.
He was relaxed.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid sat down with the boys.
There you go.
This is what you want to hear.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Chucky Doll. That's the question I was going to ask.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Trudy Armin. SEC Media Days rolling right along. It's been a fantastic time here in Nashville. The music has been great around all of the programs, the songs, the dance, everything. Alabama, no exception. Big things in that backfield, the defensive backfield expected this year.
Yeah, Pinson Valley's own Kool-Aid McKinstry now sitting down with us. Hopefully he took a huge step last year as a sophomore. It's hard to believe he's already going into his junior year. It shows you how quickly careers go by, but Kool-Aid's with us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, and you guys?
We're doing really well, man.
He kind of brought that up. Time flies.
Yeah, it really does.
Has it flown by for you?
Yes, sir. Yes, it really has. I feel like I just graduated.
I'm going to ask you a question because we get this from our listeners, and I remember seeing it when I watched you at Pinson Valley. mentality, and you use it in your social media. What is the story behind the Chucky doll? Is that kind of a mentality?
I just really like the movie. That's really.
Okay, I got you. I wondered what it meant, what the symbolism was. People have asked me to ask that question.
Well, we talked to JC a little bit, and he said on the offensive side of the ball that, you know what, that they didn't like last year, and they better get ready. Defenses better get ready because they're going to come for a full 40. On the defensive side of the ball, and you look back at last year and you analyze it and you break it down, what are you using as motivation for this year that maybe it wasn't right last year?
Well, like you said, we look back and look back at last year, and, you know, we see the mistakes that we made and we learn from them. We owned up to the mistakes that we made and we learned from them, and we just making sure that don't happen again, and making sure that we get back to the Alabama standard on the defense side of things, which means playing fast, physical, smart football, and making sure that everyone's doing their job, all 11 guys.
And then you and T-Rob, I mean, now he's taking over the secondary. I know you guys have a close relationship. I know you guys have been talking shop during the offseason. What's been the main focus for you to improve your game and then to take a leadership role with this defense?
I just been making sure that I'm leading by example and making sure that everyone have their mind in the right place and making sure that all the guys are in the playbook the way they need to be and doing all the little things right and making sure that they're trustworthy.
Has that playbook changed a lot from Pete Golding to Kevin Steele?
No, sir. I feel like the defense is a system, but I also feel like Coach Steele knows exactly what Coach Saban wants to be done, so he's bringing exactly to us.
And now that you're a leader, how do you help guys like Trey Amos and Jalen Key who are coming in? They didn't go through spring with you. How are you kind of helping bring them along and mentor them?
Really just learning the plays. Those guys know how to play ball, so just really learning the plays, knowing exactly what to do so they feel comfortable in their technique and what they're doing.
For you, goals this year, have you kind of written those down, thought about them, how you want to and what you want to accomplish kind of on that personal side?
No, sir. I haven't really sat down and run down my goals for my personal, for me as a person yet, but I know that when I do write my goals down that we have to be a great team for me to accomplish my goals. Without the team, I wouldn't be able to accomplish nothing that I want to do.
And then what have you looked at? I know you go back and study yourself. In your game, what do you need to improve the most, you think, going into your junior year?
I would say just being strong in my technique throughout the whole game, not getting lackadaisical in my technique.
No question. And then as a defense, what do you think you guys as a group need to improve on the most?
I would just say the standard of the defense was just playing fast and physical and smart. It was just making sure that we're doing that play in and play out.
Mm-hmm. How big and how fun was this for you to be here in Nashville?
Very fun. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here because I know how important it is to Coach Saban.
Did you get any advice beforehand?
A little bit, but they were just okay, and us they knew we can handle it.
And now, as a guy that's got to have the spotlight on him since high school, how big is it for you to represent your family and your community? Birmingham's tight knit. For you to as a guy that's now can take this next step and potentially realize your NFL dream. How big is that for you as a person?
Well, it's big. Just me being here at the University of Alabama, being from where I'm from, because of where I'm from, most people just think it's very hard. But I would just say to the people that just make sure you have your mind on right, and it's not hard as long as you put your mind to it and put in the work. Things can happen for you.
No question. Well, Kool-Aid, we appreciate the time, man. Thank you and good luck and stay healthy.
All right, thank you.
That is Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Very impressive.
So the Chucky doll, he just likes the doll.
Yeah, he just likes the movie. Yeah. But I don't know. You just gotta witness it. But I loved his answers. I mean, it seems like to me the two interviews, really the three interviews I've heard, is it's all about team, and I like where their head is.
Yeah,
or is. Like where they are. Now I've been impressed by most athletes here. Some of them walked around with sunglasses and all that. I don't know about that.
JC was wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't like that, but it is what it is. I mean, maybe the prescription. I wear prescription sunglasses, right?
Yes, you do.
So I don't
seen
know.
it plenty.
Yeah. But other than that, I've been impressed with these kids as I am every year.
Let's go ahead and take our final timeout. Keeping on the Alabama theme, Greg McElroy joined us earlier. We'll talk a little Alabama with him.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodieAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Back here on Radio Row, SEC Media Days 2023. Had an opportunity to talk to former Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy since it is Bama Day. Here is that conversation Wes and I had.
What I was going to tell you is we got to go to the Cowboy Stadium when it first opened.
Yeah.
Your dad came to our box and took my dad all over the stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really cool.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
It was a pretty sweet place when it opened.
Yeah.
Still sweet, but yeah, it was a good spot, man.
I hear we're going there.
What's that?
Dallas.
Next year, yeah. I'm not super thrilled about it because I know Dad's going to want to hang out every night. I'm like, Dad, I got to work, man.
I don't, for some reason, I'm just kind of upset about going to Dallas the first year. It's like Texas has already won.
Getting on a plane for media days is not something I'm looking forward to.
No,
but
me neither.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. What off-season storyline has intrigued you the most? There's been a lot of meat on the bone this off-season.
They really have. Man, I think the coordinator turnover is really intriguing because you could see a scenario at a bunch of different places where it's not just, subtle tweaks with the guys that were brought in. I mean, we could see wholesale changes offensively at Alabama, for instance. I mean, while I think they're still going to stay true to what Alabama's done, I mean, if you look at what Tommy's done at Notre Dame, I mean, they're 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, they want to absolutely bludgeon you. And that hasn't really been the MO for Alabama in about 8 years. So that's going to be really interesting. I think defensively, Kevin's going to do a lot of the same things that he's done forever. I mean, I think that was the best hire that nobody wants to talk about because it's not sexy. But I mean, Kevin is going to be able to do whatever he wants without Coach Saban telling Kevin to do whatever Coach Saban wants. And I think that dynamic where Coach is probably going to want to do this and maybe attack and dictate, Coach Steele is going to be able to say, Coach, I got a better feel for we're not going to do that right now. And that dynamic, I think, will be really healthy on that side of the ball. As far as Ole Miss is concerned, that one's an interesting one, especially with where Golding has been. I think Ole Miss was extremely, extremely soft the last couple of years. Not as far as playing hard, but their coverage. They just wanted to play soft coverage. They wanted to keep everything in front of them. They just didn't want to give up big plays, and that just led to a death by 1,000 paper cuts, and they weren't always great against the run. So I think that's going to be really an advantageous change. And then Bobby Petrino at Texas A&M. I mean, that one's really unique naturally, just with the personalities that are involved. But at the same time, I think Bobby Petrino in some ways is going to be a little bit like Kevin Steele is to Nick Saban. That's what Bobby Petrino is going to be to Jimbo Fisher, where Jimbo's going to tell Bobby, you do this, you do this, you do this. And Bobby's going to be like, Coach, I got it. I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, going to be really healthy for where they want to go offensively.
Talking about the latter, Texas A&M, I think it's very important for them to get off to because it's either going to be a good start, Texas A&M, because of last year and because the press is already working the Jimbo.
Right.
They're already working the offensive court. They're already working against them. So I think
a good start is important for everybody, but I would agree with you. A&M probably needs it as much as anybody.
Just because of I don't know. It seems like that if they do real good, there's not going to be enough credit to go around. If they do real bad, there's not going to be enough blame to go around. The egos, but I think Coach did a good job today, saying, "Hey, listen, he's a good coach. That's why we brought him in."
For sure. I also think too, and just look, I'm from Dallas, so I know the dynamic. I know the dynamic that exists between Texas and Texas A&M. And Texas A&M will say forever that they've distanced themselves from the Longhorns. I totally agree with that. They always, my whole childhood, lived in Texas's shadow. They no longer do that. But I think it's really important because Texas, they're the favorite in the Big 12. They're probably going to have a pretty dang good year. Just looking at what they bring back, the personnel they have, the roster they have, could they, wet the bed? Absolutely, that could happen. But I think it's pretty unlikely that happens. So it's going to feel like Texas is coming into the SEC with some momentum, and A&M, there is going to be a different sense of urgency if that's the case. Because whether they want to acknowledge it or not, people in Aggie Land and the decision makers in Aggie Land are very, very aware of what's going on in Austin. And if Texas has a great year and the Aggies struggle again, then it's going to be really, really ugly when Texas ultimately comes into the league. So I think for all the reasons that you already referenced, the importance to get off to a fast start, feeling as though the tide is turning back in their favor after they had so much momentum from recruiting 2 years ago. I also think the dynamic that exists between them and Texas, that also puts a different level of emphasis on improving drastically this year.
Well, this time last year, it was Bama, everybody else. It really felt that conversation was there, and that's not there this year. And it feels like everything is set up for a Bama run this fall, at least to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been crazy bullish on them all off season. I feel like people are starting to come around. I'm sure you guys probably, you live it. You're in the same part of the world that I'm in. We live it on a daily basis, so it's easier to find the silver lining. But I felt like the national narrative surrounding Alabama was that, man, they're just the best is behind them. The roster's not the same. Like all these other, there are different coaches in there again, and Nick Saban made wholesale changes. I mean, they still, last I checked, finished first, second, and first in the last 3 recruiting rankings. Okay, so you got some questions about quarterback right now, but tell me the last time. Seriously, when was the last time was a quarterback a legitimate liability? And I don't know if there's been one, to be honest with you. And while I don't know if the quarterback's going to have to be a superstar, I don't know if you necessarily have to be. Now, I do think the defense needs to improve as far as big plays given up. And I would like to see that group up front be a little more disruptive, the way they once were at the height of Bama's greatness. Now, I don't think there's a Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne and Dalvin Tomlinson coming off the bench to wreak havoc. I don't know if they're that deep, but I still think this group has plenty of top-end talent. If they can stay healthy, then I think they'll be in really good shape. Do I think they'll ultimately win the national championship? I don't know if I can go that far just yet. I'm really optimistic, though. I think they have the right culture. I think they have the right edge. I think they have good leadership. A lot of their leaders were young last year, and they're all back. So I'm really, really, really optimistic about what they're going to be.
Who's the quarterback, Greg?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't think Nick knows either. I really don't.
That's why he brought in. Everybody assumes he brought the guy from Notre Dame to be the starter, but to me, I think it's just more competition. I don't think he knows.
No, I don't think he does, and I don't think it's going to be clear, maybe even up until the Texas game. And I wouldn't even be that surprised if they implement a two-man race. I mean, because Ty Simpson's a unique skill set compared to the other two. Now, Buckner's a little bit of a mix between the two, and Milroe's a dynamic athlete. So I could see a situation in which Ty Simpson's the quarterback between the 20s, and then in the red zone, they bring in a guy that's a little more mobile when the yards get tougher and you can't stretch the field vertically. Hey, quarterback run's your friend. So I could see them using 2 guys and having adequate depth at the position. If you look at the SEC, I mean, think about how many guys have missed time the last handful of years. I mean, Texas A&M had 2 quarterbacks get hurt. LSU, Jaden Daniels got banged up with his ankle at one point. Didn't miss any time, but got banged up. Alabama, Bryce Young missed a game. Tennessee, Hendon Hooker missed the last handful of games. Will Levis got beat up a little bit last year from time to time. Florida, Anthony Richardson never got hurt, but did get a little banged up from time to time. So I do think the league, there have been plenty of examples where Auburn had multiple guys play because of injury. So I think having depth at the position is really important nowadays, and maybe even more important than it's been probably, in the last 15 years, because guys are so susceptible to contact with the quarterback run the way it's evolved.
Ultimately, who do you like going to Atlanta?
I like Bama, Georgia. Bama, they host LSU, and everyone talks about LSU's growth and how much better they got. Totally agree with all that. We called 6 of their games. I feel like I don't know if I've ever known a team as well as I've known 2022 LSU. We called 6 of their games, week 1, and we called the last game of the regular season. So saw them a lot and saw the growth. But I also saw performances against Tennessee that was an absolute drubbing. I saw them get beat pretty badly against Texas A&M in the final game of the season. Yeah, they won some close games too, and they deserve tremendous credit for that. But I do think they had some peaks and valleys last year that people are kind of overlooking right now. And they're playing in Tuscaloosa, and that's a really tough place to win. Yeah, Joe Burrow did it a couple years ago for sure, and they had a great game, and being able to pull off that win was amazing. But I don't know if it's, I don't know if this team's going to be as good as the 2019 LSU version. And then I look at Georgia by a process of elimination, really more than anything else. I mean, their schedule's very gettable. I do think the road trip to Tennessee at the end of the season will be a challenge, but Tennessee's got to get there and be in one piece when they get there too, because that game wasn't competitive last year. Even though the score would indicate it wasn't that one-sided, it certainly felt like it was. So I like Georgia and Bama in the SEC this year. I think it's going to be a great year in the league, though. I really believe that. Look at the West as an example. I think the SEC could have, I really mean this, I really think the SEC is going to have 14 bowl-eligible teams. I think Vanderbilt's going to go to bowling this year. I really believe that. I think Auburn is going to go bowling this year. Even though they might be picked to finish 7th in the SEC West, I think they're still in pretty good shape from where they were a year ago. I think South Carolina could progress. I think Kentucky could be better. I think Missouri's got a chance to still be pretty good on defense, but they got to figure out a couple things offensively as well. So I think the league's crazy deep right now, and I have a feeling there's going to be an awful lot of carnage throughout the course of the regular season.
So who are the last two? There's 16 teams, right? You said 14 to go bowling. Who's the last two?
The's only 14, right? There's only 14. Next year there's 16.
God, man.
Well, I think Texas and OU will go bowling, so make it 16. That'll work.
Dang.
Thank you, Greg.
Appreciate it.
That is our conversation we had with Craig McElroy. Coach Saban was asked, how does Coach Saban squeeze family time into his incredibly busy schedule? This was from the SiriusXM room. Here's Coach.
I spend time with Miss Terry when we're doing karaoke on Saturday night with the recruiting parents, and when we have breakfast at our house with the recruits on
You to the
Sunday
lake
morning.
much at all, or no?
Not in June.
Yeah.
No, Memorial Day till July.
Yep.
What's your
Never saw the place.
What's your go-to song on karaoke?
I don't sing.
He observes.
No, I dance, but I don't sing.
We have seen Coach dance plenty.
Yes.
So sneaking in a little family time during recruiting time is Coach Saban.
Yeah, I was. So how many years ago was it? I was there for recruiting when they were recruiting Wesley, and had it at his house. And now if you heard Coach Cutcliffe talk about he had his room.
Well,
Maryland, I went to Loxley. He had his room at his house.
For those
That's how it's done now.
For those that weren't here when we taped it,
man, it's all running together.
I know. David Cutcliffe joined us earlier today. We're going to replay that conversation for you later on this week. But coming up, speaking of setting up something, this is how the show started yesterday with Aaron Murray and T-Bob Hebert. They host a show on YouTube called Snaps. So we had our own version of Snaps with a former LSU and a former Georgia Bulldog. And you'll hear it right after this Sports Center update.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just...
Hey, I know we're in the middle of a break, but Jackson, is the schedule at 7 o'clock, does it say NCAA workflow for the Braves game tonight?
(256-656-8413). That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at ChapmanCommercialRealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Yes, indeed. A big thank you to all of our fine sponsors, Woody Anderson Ford, Eagle Masonry and Insulation, really everything Eagle, as they have expanded their businesses.
They will save you money.
Yes, they will. Chapman Commercial Realty, Bob Wallace Appliance. Incidentally, Chapman Commercial Realty, been growing with Huntsville for 6 generations. Bob Wallace Appliance, where they service what they sell. And, of course, Brookshire Hathaway, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. That's right. A big thank you to our fine sponsors for allowing us to be here. Another fun year here at SEC Media Days, winding down day number 3. How would you describe our conversation we had with Aaron Murray and T-Bob yesterday?
Out of control, on the verge of being kicked off the air.
It's the only way to describe it. Out of control.
Yeah, it was more like a three buddies having, just having it out amongst each other. 3 rivals, right?
That's right.
And you, I think you laughed the whole time.
Well, as per usual, the best interviews are where I ask maybe 2 questions, and then everybody else just goes. When you just take the football, for lack of a better term, and just run with it.
Yeah, it was fun, though.
These 2 gentlemen, of course, played in the SEC, as did Wes. Aaron Murray played at Georgia. T-Bob, I think we all know, played at LSU, who's joined us quite frequently over the years on this very program, which we're celebrating 10 years.
Yeah, I did 2 video calls with his kids today.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So, for your listening pleasure, and I guess if you're watching By the way, if you're watching in the corner up here, that's where you need to download our app, okay? Did I point in the right direction? Am I too far? Okay. Oh, so you told me you were doing something, Captain Chicken.
Yeah,
so, Captain Chicken tells me one thing.
We went to a great restaurant and he ordered a chicken sandwich last night.
We went to a fantastic gumbo place and Captain Chicken anyway. Enjoy a little fun and frivolity with Aaron Murray and T-Bob Hebert.
These boards are just so fancy. So fancy.
Oh, okay. So now we are going to have...
Hey, pull up a chair. Come relax. Pull up a chair.
It's going to go off.
Go ahead and grab Ryan's chair. It's all good. Yeah, Ryan's not using it. Tell me what it's like to work with T-Bob.
Keeps you on your toes, baby. I just hope it doesn't, I don't drop an F-bomb during an ESPN game this year from working with him too much. Bad habits. Building bad habits.
It does get a tad loose.
Yeah.
I empowered Aaron to be able to curse. It's the main thing that I've...
I'm a bad person now. My mom unsubscribed from Snaps when she heard me drop an F-bomb.
Did she really? Is that true? Is that a real story?
No.
Oh, God.
My mom wears my mom wears a shirt that says, and my dad too, they wore at the same time, that says, make Snaps your safe word.
Yes.
And I was with them when they were both wearing it. I'm like, this is awkward.
And he has very good-looking parents. So you're talking about...
You don't?
No, I do.
His mom. Whoa.
I don't know about Bobby.
Hey.
You
look a lot like Bobby.
Yeah, I know. The fatter he gets, the more we look alike. It's funny how that works.
You look good, T-Bob.
I'm just trying to...
Hey, he took his shirt off and jumped in the pool. I was like, Slim T.
I've never been scared of the pool. But,
you look good.
Yes, yeah. He did give me a little compliment. Make me feel
almost as good as your mom.
Cowboy hat's a little awkward with the headphones on.
It's awkward without the headphones on, I got to say.
It is not awkward without the headphones on.
Yeah.
I literally feel like my life, I don't know what my life was pre-purchase of this cowboy hat yesterday, but it's different now.
Yesterday.
But it's completely different now.
Before cowboy hat and after cowboy hat.
BCH and ADH. Yes, exactly. And ACH. Exactly.
So you have
What's up, Wes? You look good, dude. What's happening with you, bro?
Yeah, I'm hanging in here like a hair in a biscuit, bro.
Hell yeah, bro.
Just trying to keep it all together, right?
Let's steal that one.
These are my boys, dude. Now, they're classic Alabama roll
He's a Georgia guy.
Homers, but they're my boys, dude.
He's a Georgia guy.
Is that right, Steve? I never knew that. What are you talking about?
Tucker High School. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
He's a Georgia boy deep down side.
Oh, yeah. JC.
Yeah.
We got to see. Yeah, there we go, dog.
Yeah.
Wes was the only one dumb enough to grow up in Alabama, I guess.
Is that what it was?
What's been up, boys? How's it going? How's everything going, man? How's media week going so far?
Well, so far so good.
Yeah.
But maybe I know it's fairly early in the week, but any big takeaways for you two?
Yeah, you know what? Today I thought Brock Bowers was Carson Beck, so that was pretty surprising.
He's trying to give Carson crap. He's like, God, Carson's got no swag compared to Sets. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, Carson has like a sleeve, leg tattoos. Like, my man's like a little superstar guy.
But here's the deal.
He's like, he's balding. I was like, that's Brock Bowers.
Let's be honest though. We don't actually know what these kids look like.
6'4", 230.
Well, I didn't see him in person. I saw a picture. I'm talking about
who, Brock or something?
Brock.
Yeah, but Brock doesn't look.
He does not look.
Brock is not. He doesn't look 6'4" either. Really.
So he was standing next to Van Preen, who's what, like a giant?
He's like 6'4". No, he's only like 6'4", 6'5" too.
6'4", 310.
Okay. Either way, the point is, I think the dirty truth is, we don't really know what these cats look like.
No.
A lot of us. I couldn't even. Now I'm probably on the worst end of the spectrum. I couldn't even pick out. We played a game on our show the other day.
Can't even pick out Jaden.
I couldn't even pick out John Emery. I get Jaden. You can get the quarterbacks. You can always get the quarterbacks normally.
Carson Beck is a quarterback.
Yeah,
you couldn't get him.
Carson Beck is irrelevant. He's been irrelevant his entire career.
Brock Bowers is the best best athlete in America.
Yeah, I probably should have known Brock Bowers.
That guy's good.
That's on me. No, he is good. Put him in a uniform. I can point it out. I can tell you who he is.
Yeah, because it says Bowers on the back. That's why.
And his number. Right?
Okay.
You take one or the other over him, he's lost.
You ever seen the U documentary on ESPN back in the day?
The what now?
The U.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, of course, right? Well, in that documentary, old boy talks about taking his helmet off after he scored a touchdown. He's like, man, basketball players, you get to see their faces. Baseball players, like, we're always hidden. I'm trying to get some shine. Football players are fundamentally hidden.
Yep.
I would love to put the media, to blind test the media, no prep time, and see how many, like, if you put all the Baker players' names from SEC Media Days and then pictures of them, how many you can match up.
I would do pretty good. I don't know if I do very well.
I would do terrible.
I couldn't even name them.
Beyond awful. I think I would get like 6.
I don't know. I feel like this year, too, there's some guys, I'm like, who is that on the list, too? They didn't bring a lot of superstars. I'm like, wait, who is so-and-so bringing?
The tackle walking around looked like he's wearing last year's suit. Didn't fit.
That was a Mississippi State guy.
No, it wasn't. His Auburn guy.
I got a question. Because you're in finance, right?
Right.
So I imagine you wear suits.
Not very much anymore.
I'm about to say, how do you got to get a custom tailor suit? You can't get a suit off the rack. There's no way. Look at that concrete block of a body, dude. Feel his hands. Look at his forearms, bro. He's just like solid. He's just a solid granite rock. There's no way. You got to get a custom suit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
No doubt.
So 2 weeks ago, entitled, I watched a little bit of this, Why Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M Can't Contend in the SEC. From yesterday, do you change any of that opinion?
I think they could contend. I think they got to think, there's only so many teams.
3 in the West, right?
You have to have the players first. Like, you can't just have elite coaching and crap players. They got the half of it. They got the players. Now it's a matter of can they figure out, and I'm not saying they don't have the coaches, can they figure out the offense? Can Jimbo just take a step back and evolve? And I'll say this, like I talked to David Green, I told him this yesterday, talked to David Green, great Georgia quarterback.
Yeah.
I always thought Bobo was the OC. He's just salty because they beat LSU. I always thought Bobo was the OC. He's like, no, Rick was the OC. And then Rick 10 years later came and, we were talking at some function. Rick's like, I had to end up giving up the play calling duties when you left because I couldn't evolve in the offseason with the new trends of football. There's too many responsibilities for coaches nowadays, especially head coaches. You can't evolve your offense when you have to do a million things in the offseason. You need to give the play calling duties over, and that's why Rick gave it to Bobo. And a lot of these play callers, Eli's giving it over too. Very few guys can do both. And I think Jimbo's at a point right now where he just has too many responsibilities. Give it up. There's nothing wrong with that. And if he can give it up, he'll enjoy life more. He'll be less stressed. Let those guys go evolve on offense. And I think they got the players to do it. They got the quarterback. They got the receivers.
Here's the deal with A&M is that I don't know what their ceiling is. Like, I don't think they're going to be as good as Alabama and LSU, but
they got players that they could.
They got quarterback. They got the quarterback. They got the receivers.
But I agree. But I would guarantee. I would guarantee that they're not going to be as bad as last year. We talked about this on the Snaps yesterday. That was if you do an autopsy of how did this beautiful young healthy male die out of nowhere, that was A&M last year, right? They had all the abs, they had a full head of hair, but also like 3 different quarterbacks, young offensive line, hurt offensive line, like bad scheme and philosophy. So like, it's
but now you have better. What was it like? Why are we concerned with Alabama? Well, we don't believe in any of their quarterbacks. I don't care which one you pick. I don't believe in, and I can't buy into their receivers just yet either. A&M, I think Connor's really good.
Yeah.
I think their receivers are really good. I think the offensive line has a chance to be really good. Alabama, everyone's raving about their offensive line. I think that's still a question mark. I feel like Alabama has more question marks than A&M does offensively.
Alabama's offensive line been subpar, or
I'll tell you why.
Relative to their
which offense has less question marks right now? Right now, heading into the season, which offense has less questions?
I think Alabama has twice as much talent as Texas A&M
on offense.
And I've watched the quarterback quarterbacks, and I'll disagree with you. I think they have 4 good quarterbacks.
See, so this is what worries me. This is what worries me about Alabama.
Have you been to a scrimmage?
I think Ty's good.
Ty could be great.
I think Ty's good.
His problem is leadership. He doesn't have any leadership.
Yep.
He doesn't. He's not committed.
I don't believe in Milroe.
Milroe has a lot of. He does a lot of good stuff. He does a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he did beat Texas A&M with 4 turnovers.
He's got a raw physical skill set that is.
You can't turn the ball over. You can't turn the ball over.
They got 2 freshmen that are really good.
Here's what worries me.
Some good quarterbacks.
But they're not going to play. Those guys aren't going to play this year, though. I don't care about the future. I'm talking about this year.
I know.
You're going to trust freshmen?
Look, I know.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's true. Look, I know that y'all expect me to come on here and just be tearing down Alabama and everything.
I'll be disappointed if
but I mean, let's be clear now. Let's be clear now.
It's on the back of your phone.
You know, last 4 years, 2-2. LSU wins the West last year. Like, quite frankly, you're just not worth the effort anymore. And in fact, I think I'm kind of bullish on Bama, where others are not.
Well, they're going to be good.
Because the deal is, like, people see Saban talking after spring about how, like, you know, the quarterbacks had to ask themselves, are we doing what the team needs? And they're bringing in Tyler Buckner, and they're using these pieces of evidence to be like, oh my God, the quarterback room is a disaster. I don't buy that it's going to maybe it's not, you know, it's not going to be Bryce Young.
No.
But relative to other teams, it's not going to be a disaster. And it doesn't even mean that it's bad. Like, to me, Saban bringing in Buckner, Saban saying that is just trying to maximize the pressure on the room.
They're in the bottom half of the SEC when it comes to quarterbacks heading into the season.
Oh, that's QB1.
I'm just saying. That's all I can take into account right now.
He's still mad because he was on the 9. It's a guy.
I know, Conley. Just knock it down. And honestly, no. It's not Conley's fault. It's not Conley's fault. Gurley was supposed to cut Moses.
Yeah.
And he doesn't cut him, and that's why he's in my face and can tip it.
Bring up the SEC championship.
That's what all Alabama. Anytime I say anything negative about an Alabama team, that they had that in their pocket.
Trust me.
Oh, it's because of 2012. Aaron's so salty. It's like, can we get something new? Georgia, we've got the monkey off our back. We finally beat you guys. Thank goodness we can finally move on.
I get 21-0 all the time.
Hey, but we got the latest one though.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
The one that matters. Yeah, you would know that. I mean, y'all split with us, but I guess you win the Natty because it happened later in the year.
What do you?
No, it's 9-6. I'm sorry, guys. Your son was on the team, and you still cheered against.
I want to know: where are the receivers at?
Both teams.
That's wrong. That's true.
On each team.
That's true. That is fair.
To me, the receivers got to be better.
The receivers have to be.
They got to be better.
Yeah.
Look, there is a junior college.
Aaron said that from day one last year.
Last year, their
weapons were not going to be good enough.
17 bucks.
I like Kobe. I think Kobe has a chance to emerge. He's the one that jumped off the early on the season. Like, this Kobe's kid got some talent.
Yeah, there's a junior college guy that's really good. He's going to be. I think he'll be a difference maker.
Yep.
But you're all bring up good points. But you asked me, somebody did, what the difference was.
Team Snaps is attacking you.
Do what now?
Team Snaps is attacking you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm used to it. You always attack me.
That's true.
So, the problem with the offense, the difference between Georgia beating the dog out of LSU this year and Alabama not beating the dog out of LSU this year, y'all had the ball 5 times. Your offensive line comes off the ball, knocks people back, right? Alabama had the ball 5 times in the red zone against LSU, 12 points.
So what's wrong with the O-line?
It's the technique.
So that's on the coach
too high. Yeah, I think so. It has to.
Are they going to be better this year, though?
Who's the O-line coach right now?
They should be better. I think this is Kentucky's old offensive line coach from 2 years ago.
Because they were great when they had Marone.
Yeah.
Was Marone previous to this new guy?
Yes. The best offensive who had the best offensive line in the NFL last year? In your opinion?
That's easy.
I don't watch NFL.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they got
That's Alabama's old offensive line coach.
That's fair. But they also got Jason Kelsey and that big giant New Zealander.
They got Lane Johnson too. They got some studs.
But that's not it. They come off the damn ball.
Yeah.
they come off the ball. On 4th and 1, they're 3rd and 1 this year. You know how many times?
But it's an offensive mentality, though. Alabama's offensive mentality is different than Georgia's. Georgia has been more. We want to dominate. We want to run.
Exactly.
Alabama's got a little soft with the offense.
Soft, Wes. They need to get your ass back in there. Show them some Bear Bryant film. We didn't even drink water. And you have a barber shop? Get the hell out of here. I used to smoke cigarettes in between plays, damn it.
No, yeah.
I never got knocked off the ball.
Listen, our offensive line coach in Alabama always had a cigarette in his hand.
This is what I work with every day. This is what I work with every day.
He had a cigarette in his hand.
The whole time. We'd come off the field, he'd have to put a cigarette on the chalkboard.
Yeah, Coach.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
To hide it.
It's the difference. Lane Kiffin made y'all soft.
When men were men.
Well, I think we won a championship or two in there.
That's true. You guys did. You did.
I would not call that defensive line they had then soft.
God, no.
The Jonathan Allen year was the best defensive line I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it was 3 deep, like 9 players, like all NFL guys.
What was that murder death ball is what?
Yes, yeah. That was just joyless murder ball.
I wonder how many 5-stars at defensive end this year for Alabama. I heard that's an outrageous number.
Yeah, they have 3 or 4.
Well, that's the thing about Alabama. So to go back to why I'm a bit worried about y'all. I think there's an objective case that
you're bringing up good points, but to say that the quarterbacks are that's been overdone.
No, what I'm saying is
I agree. Ty is so I'll say I had the LSU spring game, so I witnessed with T-Bob. I was there. I was covering for ESPN. An incredible spring game. They look really good. Jaden looked amazing. The receiver.
They had a great coach.
I get on the plane.
He's awesome.
I get on the plane. There's no TVs or whatever, but I'm getting all these Twitter alerts like, oh my God, these Alabama quarterbacks. I'm like, golly, they must look like crap. I get home, I watch it. I'm like, I thought Ty looked fine.
Yeah.
I was like, it was way over. It was way overblown
on the first play.
Ty.
Oh no,
Ty was way overblown.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good about him. I'm concerned more about Milroe and the turnovers.
Here's the thing.
That's legit, but
and Buckner ain't the answer.
I don't know.
Tyler ain't the answer.
I don't know if he's there to help.
He's there if
somebody.
No, I think he's there if Ty craps the bed versus Texas. Maybe you throw him in.
That's insurance.
If Texas comes in Tuscaloosa and Alabama can't score versus a good Texas defense,
it's a pretty good defense.
It's a good defense. Yeah. Then I think you think about Buckner week 3.
Without Bryce Young, they'd been shut down last year in that Texas game. Texas was whooping that O-line.
They don't come off the ball.
Just saying. That's why he's brought in.
T-Bob, you stand straight up on 4th and 3rd and 1.
I would never. No. Obviously, I'm a man.
Yeah,
I've got nuts between my legs.
Yeah,
I got thick, milky thighs that all the women envy. Wait, how about? Okay, so here's the other thing. So if Alabama gets a quarterback, then immediately they're awesome. Obviously,
no, they're going to be good because they're going to be able to run the ball. They have some really good. 5 good runners.
But the thing that I get worried about, not for Alabama, that worries me about having to face Nick Saban in Alabama this year. I cannot remember a year in which Nick Saban had so much legitimate bulletin board material. This is a man who used to decry his battle against rat poison. Mm-hmm. Like he used to have to go toe-to-toe with praise, and now he can sit there and say, this guy thinks you suck. Snap says you're going to lose 3 games. They're picking LSU to win the West. Like, he has never had this much legitimate ammo to work with in years, it feels like.
Yeah, to me though, and you're right, but to me, the secret to this deal, will they have the leadership? Will they have who's going to be the leader? They have.
But you had it last year, huh? I mean, Bryce Young was that leader, and no.
Well, here's what happened last year, and it's excuses. So Coach Bryant used to say, the game never changes; only the excuses do.
Oh, I like that.
The same things win that have always won.
Yeah, in the trenches. That's what Aaron was talking about the other day with Georgia.
So they're excuses. So here, when the quarterback got hurt, they didn't throw the ball. He did not throw the ball practice at one time until after the LSU game. Not one time. Bryce Young.
Oh, wow.
So you have no timing. Those are all young receivers.
Yep.
They're not, and there's a problem though still that they're not in the right spot. They're blowing. If you remember,
you can see that. You can see Bryce not like.
But he doesn't trust LSU. He'd back up the pass. They were doing a good job protecting him early. Didn't do as good later in the game. And he's sitting here looking. And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh shit!" So there's nobody there. Where's that guy?
That was the biggest, and that's interesting to hear you say the timing was a part of it. So I remember even after the game, I was like, I don't think I understand defensive scheme well enough to know exactly what was going on, but I've never seen Bryce Young look so discombobulated when he hit his back foot.
Because he knows the read. The guy knows where to go with the ball like that, and he looks, and there's nobody there.
Yeah. So you think it's going to change this year though with the weapons?
I think it will. I don't think it'll be quite as much because it'll be simplified.
Yes,
and they're going to have to be better offensively on the offensive line for them to win a championship.
They're older at receiver.
Not talking about going.
They're older at receiver too. They're more experienced. I think those guys should be better.
The junior college guys could be the real deal. We'll see. He came in the spring. He looked really good.
I'll say this: the computers love Alabama. For all the human prognosticators that are sitting here like, they're not like.
That's because they have a bunch of 5-star guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
Are we guilty of being stupid? Then they have a bunch of 5-star guys. That's what
we've been tricked by 4.
Kind of. We've been tricked when it was Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M, 3 different quarterbacks, bad offensive line. Nick Saban is not that.
They better be this coordinators. The team, Alabama needs to look like 2010 to 2013 Alabama.
Kevin Steele's a wet fart hire.
I think. What now? Excuse me.
Kevin Steele's a wet fart hire, dude. Come on. Wow. Tommy Reese is young and sexy. Kevin Steele.
I think Kevin Steele's what Alabama needs. Because they're not defensively last year. They didn't have that edge, right? And I still think the best defensive lineman was just kicked off Alabama's team. They didn't trust him. He was second team. You go to the scrimmages, everybody had trouble walking him. LSU had trouble walking him during the game, but he'd go the wrong way, like on the big play.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah. So they didn't really trust him, but he had a lot of talent. Yeah. That's the most different. That's what I'm looking to see for Alabama to be at the level that they're used to is the defensive lineman. And that's been the big difference maker in a lot of the games.
I mean, that's how Saban built it at LSU. Yeah. Those D-lines are still the best D-lines LSU ever had with Chad Lavallee, Glenn Dorsey, Marcus Spears, Claude Rote, and all that crew. Mike Bobo's a wet fart hire too, bro. Yeah, I mean, both just garbage reruns. Get out of here, dude. Come on.
Georgia's a better chance to be the best offense in the SEC compared to Alabama being the best defense.
Wait, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Well, you think Georgia has a better chance of being the best offense in the SEC than Alabama's the best defense?
Yes.
Who is going to be the best defense in the SEC?
I don't think it'll be
Georgia. Because their schedule sucks. They'll have the best stats.
That's true.
Who's going to score points on Georgia? Tennessee. They got Tennessee wrapped up the past years. They know it's not that offense. There's not offense that's going to score at them.
You got to put an asterisk by all UJ stats this year because they're just padding.
Well, Ryan Fowler told us that Georgia's in the AAC this year.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron tried to tell me the other day that their schedule's not that bad. Georgia's just that good.
It's an SEC schedule. It's not that much better.
Easiest version of SEC schedules. We opened with Oregon, top 5 matchup.
They had Oklahoma. Don't blame them. They didn't screw up Oklahoma.
We opened up with Oregon, top 5 matchup.
Yeah.
We had West Virginia, who ended up winning the Orange Bowl. Beat the hell out of them too.
Yeah.
We had and I think that might have been it for the Power Fives. But it ended up that year because Oregon won the Rose Bowl. We'd be the Rose Bowl champions. We'd be the
Honey Badger went off
Orange Bowl champions. We'd be the Sugar Bowl champions. Oh no, we didn't. We did. Yeah, I mean, because obviously Alabama. Yeah. So basically, we beat all the BCS champs, but didn't end up as champs.
Yeah. So who were your senior year? Who were your non-conference?
Clemson.
Okay, respect.
First game of the season, Clemson.
Hell yeah.
Remember we played Boise my sophomore year, first game in Chick-fil-A. I was with Kellen Mond.
Yeah, y'all got beat that game.
We did. Kellen Mond, baby. 5-0 versus Power 5 teams. One of them.
Kellen Mond is a top 10 quarterback easily in all of college football since the 2000s. 50-3 as a starter.
And 5 games in the Power 5.
Suck it, nerd.
He's on an elite team in the group of 5.
My senior year, non-conference. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State.
Okay, that's pretty sick.
Penn State won that.
Exactly. When men were men.
That's right.
Smoking Joes and had big hanging nuts between their legs. That's what we're talking about, man. Times have changed. Football's
I guarantee you,
football's gone woke, damn it. Oh, come on. Trap.
Finally, T-Bob, how confident are you in LSU ultimately making it to Atlanta?
Don't be soft, T-Bob. Just say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, T.
I've been burned. I've just been burned in the past. I think.
Say it with your hat on.
I think objectively, I think objectively, LSU should win the West. I think they have the best starters. Now, we've talked about this. Top to bottom depth, I think Alabama has the advantage. So a couple injuries, things go sideways. But I like LSU's schedule. It is relatively friendly. I know Florida State's a tough matchup to start, but that could be a launching pad, right? Like, you go handle your business against Florida State, you can feel pretty damn good about yourself. You carry that
that's
forward.
Going to be a really, that might be
Florida
the best game.
Florida State's really good.
They got a really good coach.
They got a hell of a defense back. They got a quarterback. They got a receiver. They got a tight end. They got an offensive line back.
Bro, they got the number one returning production in the country.
They're going to be good, man.
I think like Michigan's maybe fifth. So I think.
So y'all are Georgia plays what high school the first game?
I don't even know. No, the first game I know Georgia plays week 3 for South Carolina is when I'll start tuning into Georgia football. Week 3 is when I'll tune in to watch Georgia football.
Georgia takes on the Skyhawks
of
UT Martin.
Let's go. I can't wait to start the Carson Beck for Heisman campaign after week 1 when we throw 6 touchdowns.
Georgia State's pretty good now. You should play Georgia State.
Can I gamble in Tennessee?
Yes.
Can I finally put my Carson Beck bet in?
You can finally put your Carson Beck bet in.
I sent him a bet 2 months ago. I was like, I need money on Carson Beck to win the Heisman.
I'm his bookie
when it was like plus 3,000. Still hasn't done it because he can bet in Louisiana. I can't bet in Georgia.
Yeah.
I think it's at plus 2,000 now, so he cost me some money.
You lost the juice, dude. Should have had a more responsible bookie. I don't know what to tell you. It's bad judgment for a quarterback, dude. Come on.
Aaron, it's called the internet. You're okay.
No.
I can't gamble in Georgia.
No, not even with the VPN.
No, you can't with VPN.
They got a lot of money.
Welcome to Tennessee.
Are you doing it? Doing it? That's what I'm saying. Then don't be so sure. If you got an actual bookie,
I'm not ready. I'm not trying to get someone knocking on my door, taking me off in handcuffs.
No.
I wish I could rely on my handy dandy co-host to put a simple bet in for me.
It's not like you're going to get in trouble. I'm just saying they actually have good tech blocking that. Like I know a bunch of guys that tried to work around.
You guys in Alabama should know about illegal gambling from coaches.
Wow.
Like they got good tech that can see text messages from I ain't gonna risk it.
We all take driver's ed in Alabama.
Burton F.
We don't at Georgia.
I understand that.
Burton F.
Oh my goodness.
Who's the bigger idiot? Who's the bigger idiot? Bohannon or Neff? I mean, Neff's a complete idiot, but what is Bohannon doing, dude?
Oh my
is he
God.
dumb?
Yes.
He has a Wake Forest MBA.
Let me tell you something. You talk about a lot of got a lot of people that I'm related to and that are friends of mine that are close to the program.
Yeah.
They will tell you Bohannon was the nicest guy of anybody there.
Bad teeth, though.
Bad teeth. God bless.
He's from West Virginia.
That's why.
That kind of checks out. Yeah.
There's somebody else from West Virginia in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Sure, he's great
pretty
teeth.
good, yeah. Well, you make $10 million a year. The teeth aren't a problem.
Yeah, but he ain't making money though.
I think he makes more out of his dealerships now.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about the baseball.
Bohannon was making 500, but
still pretty. I'll take it.
But no,
Good
it's
baseball coach.
It's the stupidest thing you've ever heard.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Oh my God.
You know what's not the stupidest thing? LSU national champs, baby, baseball boys.
That's pretty cool.
Baseball.
How about it?
That was awesome. What about the SEC winning every year?
Yeah, I know. 4 different teams, 4 years.
Are you surprised though?
You'll never see that.
I'm not surprised at baseball.
Because
But what's surprising is that the 2 previous champs
were so bad.
They were 13th and 14th. Didn't even make the SEC.
I know. It's unreal. It's unreal. The thing about baseball is it's already the sport where they never give out full scholarships. They don't have all the money, right? So like now emotional buy-in in baseball more than any other becomes like immediate economic impact. So the SEC is just going to juice up.
But LSU has to be giving NIL to their baseball.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because because now in the age of NIL, if your fan base cares,
you can pay
now
scholarships.
put money in it.
Yeah.
So you can give scholarships. You can make money on top of scholarships. No, and Baton Rouge people are obsessed with college baseball because of Skip Bertman in the 90s. But all the SEC is. I mean, Tennessee's. Also, I love SEC baseball. I love SEC football too. Can't wait to beat y'all's ass again there. That's going to be great. Boys, you realize if LSU wins, that's 3 of 5.
November 4th, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, if Alabama wins, it's 3 of 5 for them too, right? So just throwing it out there. It works both ways.
It's more like 12 and 5.
A little bit more, actually.
I suffered through like 8 in a row. I suffered through like 8 or 9.
I'm actually hoping Alabama wins so we can start getting it a little bit more even by beating them in the SEC championship game. We need to start chipping away at that Alabama-Georgia record over the past decade.
You're too old to get there.
Yeah, but we got to start somewhere. Give us another 10 years. We'll close that gap.
When's the next episode of Snaps dropping?
Well, hopefully soon.
Other than this here.
We've been recording at the pool.
What does Snaps stand for?
Like center Q, like snapping the ball. Like a little CQ exchange, dude.
Was that Auburn nose guard? What was his name? It's not in front of you. That's a good deal.
I don't know.
Auburn nose guard. What was his name?
Oh, Nick Fairley?
Nick Fairley, yeah.
Dude,
It's the second joke that Alabama people have. 2012 and then Nick Fairley. These are the first one, too. The 1-2 punch.
I was at the game.
What is funny is
I almost cussed like we're on Snap. I had to control myself.
No,
I think you just did.
No, I refrained. I'm in so much trouble this year in ESPN.
He beat my ass too, so that is true. Nick Fairley actually owns Team Snaps.
But he owns everyone.
Your card screwed you on that play.
Everybody got you. But no, Fairley went down the line though, and like I've never seen it. He embarrassed the guard, then he embarrassed me, then he embarrassed our center, then the other guard. Like,
dude, we had Clint Bowling.
Bowling's a beast. He played
Ben Jones.
Yes, yeah.
Who was my left tackle? Was the big giant played for the Bills? Why am I drawing a blank right now?
Fairley was getting going too,
and he was whooping everyone's butt. That dude, he was a freak.
No, Fairley was getting going in the NFL too with the Saints, but he had that heart thing.
Yeah. Hey, I remember we sent in tape.
He was with the Saints
to the SEC saying, because I remember we sent in tape from LSU when he was just nasty with your quarterback. We're like, man, this guy is nasty. You need to watch out for this. They didn't call a damn penalty on him to the fourth quarter.
I've never had this happen. I was running down the field and he just, and I kind of appreciate this because this is the type of stuff I do, so I like it. But he just jacked me in the back. There were no refs around. They were like jogging behind the play, and I'm talking. It felt like I just got hit in a truck. Like,
did you see what he did to my back?
Face planted in the ground. I'm like, what?
Did you see what he did to my back?
He touched you.
You didn't see what he did to my back?
I saw him like slam you, but no, it was just.
I threw the football, and I'm standing there, and at least 3 seconds went by, and all of a sudden he spears me in the back, and I look like this. I'm like,
yeah, that's how it felt, dude.
And actually, that one felt good because he broke every bone in my back. I was like, ooh, that felt good.
Even though one thing he did do is he was kind of a little, and I think that's why it took him a little bit for it to catch on the NFL before his heart thing. But like, he was kind of a little lazy play, right? For 2 plays, it'd be like, okay, I'm fine. But when he wanted to turn it on, you just couldn't.
Those are the worst ones too.
The worst ones, dude, because you get a false sense of confidence.
Yeah,
the music's coming on. It's like the microphone's being picked up.
Yeah, this is actually live right now as we welcome you in.
I gotta go get workout.
Of SEC Media Days.
All right, boys.
See you, boys.
Hey, youtube.com/@volumesnaps. youtube.com/@volumesnaps. Holla, y'all.
That is Aaron Murray and T-Bob Hebert yesterday that spilled into me trying to welcome us in.
It spilled into this whole area.
Oh, it really did.
Everybody was listening.
Yeah, it's a shame T-Bob does not have a voice that carries.
Yeah. You just seen did we take a picture of his outfit today?
I did not.
Yeah, there's a video of him dancing on the dance floor last night somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
It is all over social media. So enjoy, everybody. Enjoy also Aaron Murray dancing is also on Twitter as well. We got sideways yesterday due to the weather and did not play a whole lot from Hugh Freeze, the new Auburn head coach. Going to play a little bit from Coach Freeze from yesterday as we need to take a timeout right now. Day 3 of SEC Media Days. So this next break is going to roll into Braves baseball. You with me? Okay. All right. Okay. And for those of you watching, you know what we're doing.
Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway
Or
Rise Real Estate is
visit
the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental?
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry.
Back here on Radio Row. Let's see here. Who's broadcasting on Radio Row? Who is broadcasting on Radio Row? We are broadcasting on Radio Row. Winding down day 3 of SEC Media Days. Didn't have an opportunity yesterday to play some from the main media room of Auburn head football coach Hugh Freeze. Here is the first-year man down on the Plains.
Well, it's good to be back. I thank Commissioner Sankey and all the guys, Coach Cutcliffe in particular, who's a great resource for all of us coaches in the SEC office. And Commissioner Sankey's been incredible support and obviously a lot of wisdom that I've sought from him through the years. And he's always shot me dead straight and been very truthful with me, which I respect and really, really admire and love. It's exciting to represent Auburn. Our administration, President Roberts and John Cohen, and all of the ADs that work with them have been just incredible, and giving me and our family this opportunity to lead the proud program at Auburn and to restore it to its rightful place in the hierarchy of college football. And we know we've got a tall task ahead, but it's one that we're excited. The alignment that I think I sense from President Roberts to John Cohen down to myself, I think is an all-time high maybe for Auburn. Obviously, I haven't been there, so I don't have a lot to compare it to, but the support I feel and the alignment I feel, particularly with those two guys, is very, very exciting. Obviously, we owe a great debt of gratitude to our fan base. I think we have an incredible fan base that we've sold more season tickets in the history of the program this year. And while that speaks to their expectations and their excitement, hopefully they'll give us a little patience as we continue to rebuild this roster to hopefully close the gap on those guys in this league that are doing it at a high level. But we are extremely, extremely excited and proud to have brought three great young men with us today in Luke and Cameron and Elijah. I think they represent what an Auburn man is, and they represent the culture that we want in our walls. And hopefully you'll get to spend some time hearing from those guys also. It was a hard decision because we have other quality ones also that are great leaders, and we're going to depend upon them heavily in year one to help us find a way to compete with the upcoming schedule that we have. Even though we might have some deficiencies at some places, hopefully we can overcome those with culture and leadership and desire. And so excited to get it started. We've got a lot of questions about exactly how we're going to be, and truthfully, I don't know all the answers to that yet. This is a strange feeling, and in some ways for me, I've never experienced going into fall camp and having so many unknowns in my mind, whether that's because of the new world of you gained some of your roster from transfer portal world, or you gained it even after spring practice through the portal world, and obviously then summer enrollees come. So there's a lot of things that I'm not quite certain about also, but excited about the opportunity to get to know our team even better. Love our staff, love the work they've put in recruiting and in trying to improve our roster, and really, really excited about the opportunity to represent Auburn this fall and our great fan base. We've been welcomed, Jill and I and our three daughters and their husbands. We could not have asked for a better welcoming to the Plains. What a great place it is to live, and we're excited about putting our roots down there and building this program back to what it's been. It's been only one of 6 programs to play for 2 national championships in the last 13 years, and we want to return to that. And so we're excited, thankful for this opportunity, obviously, to be back in what I think is the greatest program, the greatest conference in college football, representing one of the greatest programs that I think is in college football.
That is the opening statement from Hugh Freeze yesterday in the main media room here in Nashville. By the way, coming up on Friday, our latest zone deal will hit the streets for you to gobble up beginning at 8 a.m. Friday morning. It's Bigfoot Little Donuts. You get $50 worth of Bigfoot Little Donuts for just $25, and that lands again Friday morning at 8 a.m. So our staff around us is starting to fill out ballots that I'm noticing. And I've got a morning show host to my left that I think has a different Western Division champ than you do, Wes.
That's okay. I like it.
You have a different East opponent to win than our midday host.
Listen, I think there's a chance that happens. I think it's a chance.
You think there? Well, give me a percentage chance that Tennessee wins the East.
50-50.
50-50.
Yeah, I think it's 50-50.
50-50.
50-50.
50-50.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got to win one game. So who's going to beat them? I mean,
who's going to beat Tennessee?
Yeah.
Who's going to beat Tennessee?
Besides Alabama. I think Alabama.
Let's see here. They're in Gainesville to take on the Florida Gators early. That was not an easy game last year.
So you need to go
they're
see who they're going to be underdogs against. Georgia and Alabama. That's it.
Well,
right?
Somebody will upset them. Somebody will upset them. South Carolina is a home game for the Vols. By the way, they will be rolling in here tomorrow for the final day of SEC Media Days.
And Ole Miss, right?
They're in Tuscaloosa taking on Alabama, so you have Tennessee beating Alabama?
No, they're going to lose that game, but they can lose that game. If they beat Georgia, they'll have to lose 2 SEC games.
Tennessee is in Lexington taking on Kentucky on October 28th. And then they travel to Columbia, Missouri.
They'll be favored
on November the 11th.
Games.
And after the Missouri game,
they'll be favored.
It is the Georgia game at home.
At home. And
that's a heck of a back-to-back, considering
that's all they have to win.
How physical those two teams are.
All they have to do is young quarterback, never started a game, going to Neyland Stadium.
Anybody buying this?
If they're playing for it. Nobody's buying it, but that's okay.
Nobody's buying this.
Yeah. If he's still there. You don't know how these – I mean, I've heard these quarterbacks and this and that, and then they get hit. I don't know how – he might be great. Yeah. No, I mean, Joe Milton looked good his last game now. They put up – right? I'm just saying. I think it's a possibility. I think it's 50-50.
By the way, Jackson, he did have also – someone finishing last in the West that
well, I wasn't very – if you listened to Hugh Freeze yesterday in his talk.
We just did.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It was yesterday, though, and I didn't listen to it just then because I was
you were filling out your ballot.
Because I had already heard it.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know if Jaquez Hunter's going to play, even though everybody here says
that is a big deal.
That's not what he said.
No, it is not.
And it's up to the university.
Auburn to
you're waiting on the university.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, I think Hugh Freeze is going to be a good coach for Auburn before it's over with.
Because remember, during the spring, Coach Freeze went out of his way to talk about Hunter, saying that he was the most talented tailback he's ever coached.
No question. This is preseason. I haven't even seen these people play. I just like to shake it up a little bit. I just don't.
Shake it up.
No, we heard Aaron Murray says, well, this guy's going to have 6 touchdowns, and he's better than, yeah. If he's better, he played last year. I mean, Georgia won a national championship with the oldest quarterback in history.
How many different SEC champs do you think the media is going to produce from this group of knuckleheads that we have here? I'm including me in that knucklehead group. Georgia will be the clear favorite. Just like this time a year ago, Alabama was the clear favorite.
Yeah, and they had
but that didn't happen.
What happens if the quarterback gets hurt? I mean, to me, nobody's won 3 years in a row, although it's been close. Alabama's been close twice to doing it.
Yes.
Or 3 times. Anyway, it's hard to do.
It is.
It's very hard to do. You got a new quarterback, hasn't taken a snap in a Southeastern
new
Conference
offensive
game.
coordinator.
Yeah.
Old new offensive coordinator.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to watch. I just think Tennessee laid an egg last year. They're embarrassed by it. If they're able to go through with just one loss and they're playing Georgia in Knoxville, and they win, they go to they only have the Vanderbilt left to go play for the SEC title. they got a good shot of winning that game.
Scoreboard update for you. They are in the top of the third. The Diamondbacks and Braves are tied at 1. Not sure what's going on with the Bravos here the last couple of days, but Charlie Morton is on the mound for the Braves, and after this timeout right here, we will join the Braves Radio Network in progress. We'll be here again tomorrow for SEC Media Days, bright and early. Tomorrow morning, day 4, will conclude with Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee. We'll close up shop tomorrow here for SEC Media Days. That'll do it here for The Drive, live from Radio Row.